Hi, Monday the 21st of March, and I hope you all had a great weekend. A not small fact is occupying my mind these days. I'm almost 50. It's a fact, I don't like it, but it's a fact. I'm currently in my 50th year, and in June, I'll turn that corner. I won't be in my 40s anymore, I'll be in my 50s. The timing's just great. I emerged from the darkness of depression into the darkness of old age. How can I be 50? I remember when my parents were in their 30s, and now I'm about to turn 50. 25 years ago, 35 years ago, I remember those days so well. Long-term memory, great. Short-term memory, shabby. I can walk into a room these days and forget why I've even gone in. From 35 years ago to now, so quick. And as I get older, the time seems to pass by faster and faster. I'll blink and I'll be 80. I wish I could slow it all down, but of course I can't. It's out of my hands. What is in my hands, of course, is what I do with the time. The time's going to pass by anyway, regardless of what I do, whether I lie in bed for the next 30 years and do nothing, or I bound out of bed in the mornings to make the most of life. And it's in that vein that I'm having strange and weird, I suppose, midlife crisis thoughts and ideas. One of the most so not me, a tattoo. I've been thinking of getting, when the kids say this, thinking of getting a tattoo. When any of my family say this, shock, horror, yes. But bear in mind that David Dimbleby, the great David Dimbleby, got his first, probably only tattoo when he was 75. Moving on, next thought, a motorbike. I've never even ridden a 100cc moped. And now I fancy a Harley Davidson, a great big beefy cruiser of a Harley, or one of those Honda Goldwing bikes, the one with those 8-track cartridge tape machines, not so much a seat to sit on as a sofa to get comfy on, to nestle into. That's my kind of bike. So, now here's me, a man who has never considered a tattoo, now wanting one, or thinking he wants one, sporting the body art as I cruise the streets of suburban Renana on my Harley, listening to the Carpenters on 8-track, swaddled in my leathers. It's an endearing image. And bear in mind that I'm a vegetarian, or a pescatarian to be honest, teetotaler. I wonder how many Harley cruising tattooed veggie teetotalers there are out there. I think I'd be unique. And I almost forgot the earring. I'm not making this up. I have been seriously thinking about getting an ear pierced. It's all typical midlife crisis stuff. The next thought, which is not so much bizarre as completely irrational, the context is that I hate flying. I hate flying, but I fancy taking flying lessons, getting a PPL, a private pilot's license. What am I thinking? I don't like flying, I hate flying, and yet I'm thinking, I want to learn to fly. I think it's after about 36 to 40 hours of lessons, you go solo. I can't imagine the terror of sitting there in a single-engined aircraft about to, run down the runway and take off and go up there on my own. I can't imagine it. But I think that's what's playing out in my mind here, this desire or need to step outside of myself, to get out of my comfort zone, to test myself, to feel a rush that can only really be felt by stepping out. And I believe that it's only by doing that, stepping out of our comfort zone, that we can really plug into the sense of our own potential. That this is how we can really, truly fuel our self-confidence. Self-confidence, there's another thing that's been preying on my mind, is stand-up comedy. I've got this desire, or death wish, to walk out onto a stage, open mic, to hold an audience with comedy. walking out from behind the wings, standing in front of an audience, a load of people wanting me to or expecting me to make them laugh. Out there, just me and the mic. I think I'd lose control of my bodily functions, which I suppose means that I'd be assured of at least one laugh. Another thing on the menu, not scary, but just something that, I'd like to do. Piano. I want to learn the piano. Probably too late in the day to consider a future career as a concert pianist, but a basic level of proficiency would be great. Poor Yaf, my long-suffering wife Yaf, who might not be comfortable with all these changes or additions, but the good thing is, I suppose, is that I wouldn't have the time for an affair. Although, to be fair, I'll be very attractive, appealing, swaddled in those bike leathers, the new me, the more lithe, streamlined figure that I've been able to showcase these last few months. Able now to strut my stuff in 32-inch waist, narrow fit jeans, and tight figure hugging t-shirts and tops. So, I think maybe a photo shoot in the front cover of GQ Esquire or The Rake would be in order. So there we have it. The new me is taking shape. A 50-year-old teetotal tattooed, earring sporting, Harley riding, leather swaddled, flying vegetarian stand-up comedian who, when not modelling Calvin Klein underwear and attending photo shoots for the front cover of The Rake, GQ, and Esquire, likes to unwind by playing the piano. Hold that image. I mean, the truth is, sometimes I am down about turning 50. And at other times, taken unawares, I feel quite a rush. I feel quite upbeat. When I was 40, there were no mixed feelings. I was just morose. At least now there are some waves of positivity that wash over or wash away the negativity. I've made some really bum decisions at times over the course of my life, but I now know that lots of them were made when I was being mauled by the black dog whose name is depression. Regrets? I've had a few, but then again, too few to mention. No, at times, I've had a lot more than a few too many to mention. But there's no point in thinking about them. What's done is done. I can't turn the clock back, and this is the main point. You can learn from them, yes, but it's a fact that if you're in a good place today, or even if you aren't, but you have some good things in your life, you wouldn't have had them if you'd made different decisions. The only road that I could have travelled on to get to where I am, having Yaf, my terrific wife, and my wonderful kids, the only road that I could have travelled on to get to this place where I'm loved and where I love, the only road that would ever have got me here, please allow me, Sir Paul, is the long and winding road down which I have sauntered all these years. Of course, it would have been better at times. It would have been easier if the road had been straight. No undulations, no bumps, no winding. But it would not have led me to where I am now. And I think that turning 50 has advantages over turning, say, 20. Namely that I'm old enough now to have amassed lots of experiences. I've learnt loads by the great lessons of mistakes. I'm much, much wiser than I was decades ago. I've got a much more tangible sense and awareness of who and what I am now compared to what I felt about myself 20 or 30 years ago. I mean, I know more about myself now than I even did just 1 year ago. And all of that consciousness and awareness, it feeds my appetite today. I can put my life into perspective. I feel the value of time. And all of this knowledge and awareness is in my possession whilst I'm young enough to act on it. If we get to 100 and we've still got our mental health, I guess we're mind-bogglingly wise, but of course we're too old then to take advantage to exploit the wisdom to the extent that we can when we're 50. At 20, we have the youth and the physical prowess, which would allow us to take on the world, but of course then we don't yet have the wisdom. So in that sense, I suppose, yes, youth is wasted on the young. I reckon that 50 50 might just be where there's a good balance between wisdom and youth. 50 might just be the sweet spot. Time, we're told, is our greatest enemy, but I try to look at the fact that it's the passage of limited time, not as a source of negativity, but as a source of positivity. My growing awareness of the limited nature of time is a wake-up call. It instructs, it orders me to get on with living before the sands of time have run out. This is it. Each second that passes takes me a second nearer to the end, and I feel that I'm fortunate to be, use that word again, to be plugged into the consciousness of that fact. Consciousness of that fact is liberating. It frees me up. It catapults me, hopefully, into really living my life. Every now and then, not much, but every now and then, a great inspirational saying appears on Facebook or Twitter. One that really speaks to me. One such saying, it goes along the lines of, don't try, do. And I get that. When I say I'll try, it's a half-hearted attitude. I have to decide to actually do. If it doesn't work, it doesn't matter. But if I'm going to do it, if I say I'm going to do it, it's a more positive, it's more positive and decisive. It's more of a statement of commitment than I'll try. Another thing that we Middle Ages we know well, but one that I'm particularly acutely aware of these days is that it doesn't go in by osmosis. Our brains aren't the soak-it-up sponges that they were when we were kids. I'm not going to learn Ivrit, Hebrew. If I just sit passively in the Ulpan class, in the Hebrew class, I am going to them again. If I don't revise back at home what we did in the class, if I don't do my homework, if I don't talk to Yaf in Hebrew, if I don't practice, it's not going to go in by osmosis. And if at my age, if I want to do something new, learn something, I have to accept that it's going to be hard work, that it'll take a major commitment, that it won't just happen. If I decide to learn the piano, I'll have to work 10 times harder than a 10-year-old. If I decide to learn to fly, I'll have to study the books, the technical side, 10 times harder than the 25-year-old. But the flip side of the 50-year-old coin is that I know what I have to do. I know that time is precious and mustn't be wasted. I know that if I'm not in the last chance saloon now, I know that it's not far off. I know that I won't have many more chances or opportunities to give it a go. My physical and mental wherewithal, prowess, is not going to increase. It's not going to get better. At my age now, will always be better than later. And that awareness is a powerful motivating force. I remember hearing some time ago, Steve Jobs, apparently he said that when he was given his terminal diagnosis, of course he was crushed, but he said he felt liberated, that he felt a rush, an incomparable zest and appetite for living. That he said to himself something along the lines of, I haven't got much time left and I'll be damned if I'm going to waste a second of it. And that's powerful stuff. So there it is. I'm not overjoyed. I'm staring down the barrel at 50. I'd rather be turning 30, but it's a complete waste of time and energy giving a moment's thought to that. I have to look forward, not backwards. I have to focus on the opportunities and in the future, not the regrets of the past. And if this inspires just one person to adopt a more positive attitude to life, to living, then the vlog was worthwhile. I wish you all well. I hope you enjoyed the vlog. If you did, please subscribe to the channel. And I wish you all a great week. Peace and calm and tranquility, good health and happiness, success. And I will be with you again soon. Bye.